In desperate times, desperate people do desperate things. And one of those desperate things that has gained momentum over the past few years is people living in storage units.
Y'all, stuff don't gotta be so expensive. You go to the grocery store now, like $100 is nothing. $100 going to the grocery store is nothing but some eggs, 1 pack of ground beef, and that's it. Maybe a bottle of water. That's it. And I heard that people are now renting out storage units and living in them. And I don't blame them people because, honey, rent's so high now. What is cheap? Well, how much is rent out a storage unit? Maybe $100 to $200 starting out. At least the smaller storage versus what? 13, 14, 15 to 2,000. You come out cheaper renting out a storage unit.
Now, for those out there asking, is this really a thing? The answer is a definite yes. But honestly, in today's economic climate, with the constant rising inflation and interest rates, we have to ask, is this really shocking news to you? A recent report found that rent prices worldwide have been surging at an alarming rate, increasing by over 23% since 2019. According to Realtor.com, the average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the United States is close to $1,700, while the average price for a two-bedroom apartment comes in at $1,900. This is also the same in nearby countries like Canada, where the average one-bedroom apartment cost over $1,300, and a two-bedroom apartment comes in at $2,200. And per the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, there are approximately 582,000 Americans left homeless in 2022. So, as the numbers show, this is far from just an issue in Atlanta. However, since it was just Yoshi's video talking about this trend in Atlanta that was the catalyst for this video, we'll be using the home of the Braves as an example of an issue that is actually quite commonplace throughout our good old trillion-dollar foreign aid giving country. And to be honest, has been for years.
Hi. How are you guys? Working off of a Get Marty tip, we found the Ashbaugh family living here in the storage unit. Actually, they have 2 units, and they've been living here for a while, for months. What do you do at night? Just leave this open?
No, we come in and we close it.
Doesn't it get hot?
That's why it's open right now. I can't have him sleeping in here with the doors closed. He'll overheat.
But back to modern-day Atlanta. To start, half of Atlanta's residents earned less than $3,200 a month in income, while the average cost of rent for a simple one-bedroom apartment in the home of the Falcons comes in at around $1,700. So it doesn't take a genius to see that the remaining funds doesn't leave much for other monthly bills like car payments, gas, food, utilities, and especially those with children. Georgia has 1,502 storage facilities, and most of those have 100 or more storage units. Many of these facilities offer the first month free, with the average rent for a 10 by 10 unit averaging around $100 a month. So while on paper it may look like moving into a storage unit might make economic sense for the desperate person, living in one is a whole other story, as this poses all sorts of serious health and safety risks. First, most units aren't climate controlled, so you would be exposed to whatever temperatures Mother Nature gives you. Second, there aren't any electrical outlets in the units, so you can't function as in an apartment. There also isn't a bathroom. Mice and rats can be serious issues as well, depending on where the unit is located and how clean it's kept. Also, other nearby units could have unsanitary items that affect odor, pests, and sanitation. And for those storage companies that do have indoor storage units, as well as those that open to the outside that are climate controlled, what may seem like an ideal living situation for someone without a place to stay really isn't, because these units still don't have insulation like a home or an apartment would. The climate control is for the building, like hallways and common areas, not for inside the actual storage unit. Also, storage units are built cheaply, so property owners can make the most money. Some are just metal buildings set upon gravel or concrete in a field or empty lot. That puts them at high risk for bugs, mice, weather, and criminals. People have also died trying to live inside storage units. In April of 2023, a 27-year-old male who'd been living inside a unit in Arlington, Texas, was found dead inside it, with no foul play believed to have been involved.
Well, police say that this public storage facility on South Cooper Street, that tentatively the deceased man is 27-year-old Debony Moffett II. After March 23rd, he failed to show up for work at a convenience store where he hasn't missed a shift in more than 2 years. Is tentatively that of U.S. Army veteran and store clerk Debony Moffett II. His cause of death has not been determined. That information.
Police also make regular arrests of criminals attempting to break into storage units to steal valuable items. 6 were arrested in Panama City, Florida in September on burglary charges, and another 6 were charged in Currituck, North Carolina for repeated break-ins of local storage facilities. Storage unit property owners have cracked down on the trend of people trying to live in units. That has become particularly burdensome after viral videos show the lifestyle as being adventurous and even glamorous. The unit property owners say they must keep people out of the units to abide both by state laws and also to keep their property and liability insurance. Storage unit use is also governed by state laws, and in Georgia, for example, uses of storage units fall under the Georgia Self-Service Storage Facility Act of 2016. That law states no one can use a self-storage unit as a residence. The term self-service storage facility relates only to the leasing of a space to house items, and that is part of the legal definition. Police mostly scatter people living in storage units when they find them, but they're now making arrests to discourage the trend.
Armed with bolt cutters and only one sandal on, surveillance video shows this shoeless thief popped lock after lock at the storage facility, clearing out about 15 units before taking off in a moving van.
Anything from musical equipment to tools to pictures. We found a lot of little trinkets, things like that looked like they were sentimental value.
2 people in Richmondville, New York, were arrested, one last April and another in June, for illegally living in a storage unit and stealing items during their stay. Each faces at least 20 counts of various charges, including conspiracy. And the vast majority of those living in a storage unit don't even rent the unit. That's the way it was with the New York couple. They broke into a unit, stayed there, and stole some items to sell while they were there. It can be fairly simple to hide out among furniture and stacks of boxes. Couches and other types of things make for places to sleep. Now, again, we're pretty sure that most people that end up living in storage units already know the risks. But like we said, in desperate times, desperate people do desperate things. And honestly, who are we to judge?